Hello, welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. This is an article from a Patreon supporter, Logan D'Alessandro. This is what you get at the $5 level. You get to suggest articles. Any of you that have donated at the $5 level, I've sent out an email to all of you. Please respond to it. If you don't want me to read an article, that's cool too, but that's what you get at $5 and up. So last month, Logan sent an article for me to cover about the student loan debt crisis. And he's following up on that. Well, I didn't realize that until, of course, last month. That's one of the things I do love about this show is I learn as much from you guys as hopefully you are from me. And so there's more detail about the student loan. First of all, it's that there's a student loan debt bubble on top of, we know there's another housing bubble coming. There is a car loan bubble. So what this article that's at zerohedge.com, written by, well, this is obviously a pseudonym, Tyler Durden. Pretty sure it's not a fictional movie character writing this. It's actually Jim Quinn via the Burning Platform blog. Is what happened was obviously Congress has been helping out, bailing out student loans for a while, but Obama used executive action starting in 2010 to extend the most generous terms to millions of borrowers, which is precisely what loan volumes under the program started to skyrocket. And what that means is taxpayers are going to have the privilege of repaying $137 billion worth of debt spent by entitled millennials on binge drinking, trips to Cancun, and drugs. Well, that's a bullshit. That's one thing about this article that is a little dumb is they're blaming... the blaming millennials thing, let me just address that real quick. That's getting old. Because my thing is, who raised the millennials? Baby boomers, right? So, and also, it's millennials that are realizing how much the system is bullshit. It's millennials that is the largest group of independents in the country because they think that the two-party system is nonsense. So blaming millennials for a bullshit broken system is ridiculous, authors of this, Jim Quinn. But anyway, that nonsense aside in this article, it brings up some pretty stark realities, which is, I didn't know this, but, and there's a link in here to an article from Bloomberg from Shahan Nasapur reports the federal government has in recent years paid debt collectors close to $1 billion annually to help distressed borrowers climb out of default and scrounge up regular monthly payments. New government figures suggest much of that money may have been wasted. So what they've been doing is basically they're paying debt collectors money, and the debt collectors get paid on reclaiming pennies on the dollar no matter what. So we're spending more money for debt collectors than money we're getting back on defaulted student loans. And this is a system that was helped put in place by Obama. It's unbelievable. I'll read some more stuff here. Nearly half of defaulted student loan borrowers who worked with debt collectors to return good standing on their loans defaulted again within 3 years, according to an analysis by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. For their work, debt collectors receive up to $1,710 in payments from the U.S. Department of Education each time a borrower makes good on a sour debt through a process known as rehabilitation. I didn't know this. They keep those funds even if the borrower subsequently default again. The contracts are showing this. The department has earmarked more than $4.2 billion for payments to its debt collectors since the start of the 2013 fiscal year, federal spending data show. The findings gleaned from the Bureau's analysis of about 600,000 borrower accounts come as the Trump administration weighs a shakeup of the government student loan program. For years, defaults have mounted despite the improving U.S. economy and the money invested in collecting education debt. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, this is who's in charge of this now, pledged earlier this year to do a better job than the Obama administration at managing the department's loan contractors. Last year, DeVos suggested the Fed should just start afresh. Oh boy. So all of this nonsense that's been created by Obama and Bush and Clinton, and now this is why, as Hedges said, as I've said, Trump is the symptom, not the disease. But the symptoms are pretty bad, and he has a cabinet full of buffoons and idiots and corrupt morons like Betsy DeVos. So she's going to handle this? So I'll read you another quote from the top student loan official, Seth Frutman at the Consumer Bureau, right? When student loan companies know that nearly half of their highest risk customers will quickly fail, it's time to fix the broken system that makes that possible, because they know, oh, I'll help this person out. I get paid to get them to rehabilitate their loan, and the money I get paid to get them back on track, I keep even when I know that person is probably going to default again. That's how this system is set up. So basically, for every $1 that we collect, it costs $38 to get that money back. Only the United States federal government could have a system that fucking stupid. Or we could just have free college for everybody. Then we don't have to go through this bing bang system. Like, this is so stupid. Yeah, the government pays almost 40 times what debt collectors bring in, federal records show. Take the rehabilitation program, which targets people who have defaulted on their debt, meaning they missed 9 months of payments. If a borrower subsequently makes 9 on-time monthly payments of as little as $5 during a 10-month period, their loans are returned to good standing and the default is supposed to be wiped from their credit reports. But the CFPB found that more than 40% of these borrowers defaulted again within 3 years. Close to 80% of borrowers who rehabilitate their debt make the minimum $5 monthly payment, according to the 2015 estimate by the National Council of Higher Education Resources, a lobbying group that represents student debt collectors. Oh, great, and services. That means the Education Department is paying debt collectors $1,700 per borrower to collect around $45, regardless of whether they continue to make the payments. Which means the debt collectors, they have no skin in the game. Most debt collectors, the only way you get paid is if you get the majority of the money back, right? That's how a debt collector makes their money. So if they don't get any money back, they don't get anything. But this system, oh, they just need $5 a month for 9 months and I get $1,700. That's all I got to do. It's unbelievable. And the only people winning from this system, of course, are the debt collectors. The taxpayers are getting screwed. The federal government is getting screwed, of course, but they set this thing up. The student loan this isn't a good system for anybody. This is the thing why I talk about this over and over again, but this is why we need real progressive politicians in there. Why we have the money for free college education, but of course the current system is like pay off debt collectors and banks and, corrupt people. They make money. People are getting a shitty education anyway. The public school system is awful. You go to school for 12 years and what do you learn? And then you get strung with this debt for college. It's unbelievable, and it's going to collapse, because what's going on here, they've what this article illustrates, and what Logan D'Alessandro wrote to me, is that it illustrates that bankruptcy for student loans is inevitable. Like, it's going to happen, right? You see, they have money to get by, but then it's going to break down. This whole system, the government can't handle this system. And as Trump is spending now more money on the military, this is what it's going to be. And then that article is very telling because it shows you what the media likes to do. They like to look down on the poor, or these deadbeat, like they're blaming millennials. It's millennials' fault. Really, it's millennials' fault that 54% of our budget is for military. Really? It's millennials' fault that the whole liberal elite has just fucking acquiesced to power. It's the millennials' fault that college tuitions have gone up, 300% or something like that? When I went to college, between 87 and 91, it was $8,000 a year for the University of Arizona. $8,000 a year. I get nieces and nephews now. They're looking at, it's $60,000 a year. I mean, it's insane. And they're not going to some crazy ass private school. And still getting scholarships and Pell Grants and all this stuff. It's still a burden. It's still a burden on parents. It's unbelievable. And this whole system is corrupt. And it just shows, like, I don't know how anything gets fixed. I don't know how a giant financial meltdown. It's coming. It's coming, everybody. It's coming. The housing crisis is going to collapse. The student loan system is going to collapse. Car loans, I mean, it's going to collapse. If you got a lot of cash, hang on to it. Turn it into gold and wait. Because in about 18 months or so, you're going to be able to buy a house and a car really cheaply. And then no one's going to get to go to college or something. I don't know what the fallout from this is going to be. But it's another system that is just completely broken and is completely corrupt. And so I thank you, Logan D'Alessandro, a $5 Patreon backer, for bringing this to my attention so that I can put it out there for all of you to watch. Like and share this. If you know anybody that's got student loan debt, if you know anybody if any of you out there have kids who are getting ready to go to college, think about this. This is terrifying that this is the system. It's yet another thing that's going to collapse. The carbon bubble is going to collapse. I'm not trying to be all gloom and doom, but holy shit. It's like one article after another. You just see that decades of corruption, as Hedges calls it, the 4-decade-long slow-motion corporate coup, we're all going to pay for it, which is why we have to fight so hard to get progressives in there. Get them on your local level, get them on the state level, get them on the federal level, get them on the national level. That's the only way to fix this. Get some really smart people that are real progressives that aren't going to back down and take corporate money to fix these problems. And we can make this country a lot fucking better. Thank you, Logan, and thank you all of you for watching. Like and subscribe, and the Patreon link is below.